Hello student, I am Siddhi Khanna from IIMT College of Law. Today I am going to discuss a convention named CEDAW, that is a convention on the elimination of all form of discrimination against women. Now let's start. First of all, introduction से start करते हैं. The United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Form of Discrimination Against Women was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1979. It has often been described as an international bill of rights for women and set out a comprehensive set of rights for women in civil, political, economical, social, and cultural fields. It also describes a definition of discrimination also in Article 1 of this convention. Article 1 describes the definition of discrimination. For the purpose of present convention, the discrimination against women shall means any distinction, exclusion, or restriction made on the basis of sex, which has the effects or purpose of impairing or nullifying the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise of women, irrespective of their marital status, on a basis of equality of men and women, of human right and fundamental freedom to the political, economic, social, cultural, civil, or any other field. There are already 13 articles. So now article 2 discuss कर लेते हैं. That is policy measures. State parties condemn discrimination against women in all forms, agree to pressure by all appropriate means and without delay a policy of eliminating discrimination against women and to end. Undertake. There are certain points we have to discuss. That is to embody the principle of equality of men and women in their national constitution or other appropriate legislation if not yet incorporated herein, and to ensure, though laws and other appropriate means, the practical realization of this principle. To embody the principle of the equality of man and woman in their national constitution or other appropriate legislation if not yet incorporated herein, and to ensure, though laws and other appropriate means, the practical realization of this principle. To establish legal protection of the rights of women on equal basis with men, and to ensure, though competent national tribunal and other public institution, the effective protection of women against any act of discrimination. To refrain from engaging in any act or practice of discrimination against women, and to ensure that public authorities and institutions shall act in conformity with this obligation. To take all appropriate measure to eliminate discrimination against women by any person, organization, or enterprises. To take all appropriate measure, including legislation, to modify or abolish existing laws, regulation, custom, and practices which constitute discrimination against women. To repeal all national penal provision which constitute discrimination against women. Now we will discuss Article 3, that is equality. Article 3, state party shall take in all field, in particular in the political, social, economic, and cultural field, all appropriate measure including legislation to ensure the full development and advancement of women for the purpose of guaranteeing them the exercise and enjoyment of human right and fundamental freedom on a basis of equality with men. Article 4 talks about temporary special measure. Adoption by state parties of temporary special measure aimed at accelerate de facto equality between men and women shall not be considered discrimination as defined in present convention, but shall in no way entail as a consequences the maintenance of unequal or separate standard. These measures shall be discontinued when the objectives of equality of opportunities and treatment have been achieved. Secondly, adoption by state parties of a special measure, including those measures contained in the present convention, aimed at protecting maternity, shall not be considered discriminatory. Now, we will discuss Article 5, that is sex role and stereotyping. Article 5 of this convention state that state parties shall take all appropriate measures to modify the social cultural pattern of conduct of man and woman with a view to achieving the elimination of prejudice and customary and all other practices which are based on the idea of inferiority or the superiority of either of the sexes or on a stereotype role for men and women. State parties shall take appropriate measure to ensure that family education includes a proper understanding of maternity as a social function and to recognition of the common responsibility of men and women in the upbringing and development of their children. It being understand that interest of the children is the very model consideration in all cases. Uh, Article 6 of this convention talks about trafficking and prostitution. It also prohibits trafficking and prostitution. State party shall take all appropriate measure, including legislation, to suppress all form of trafficking in women and exploitation of prostitution of women. Uh, this is the similar in our constitution also. In Article 7 of this convention talks about political and public life. State party shall take all appropriate measure to eliminate discrimination against women in political and public life of the country, and in particular shall ensure to women on equal terms with men the right to vote in all election and public referenda and to be eligible for election to all public elected bodies. To participate in the formulation of government policies and the implementation thereof, and to hold public office and perform all public function at all level of government. To participate in non-governmental organization and association concerned with the public and political life of the country. Article 8 talks about the participation at the international level. Okay. State party shall take all appropriate measure to ensure to women on equal terms with men and women without any discrimination the opportunity to represent their government at the international level and to participate the work of international organization. Article 9 of this convention talks about nationality, that state party shall grant women equal right with men to acquire, change, or retain their nationality. They shall ensure to particular that neither marriage to an alien nor change of nationality by the husband during marriage nor change of nationality by the husband during marriage shall automatically change the nationality of the wife, render her stateless, or force upon her the nationality of the husband. Secondly, the state party shall grant women equal right with men with respect to the nationality of their children also. Article 10 talks about equal rights in education. Okay. This is the important article. State party shall take all appropriate measure to eliminate discrimination against women in order to ensure to them equal right with men in the field of education and in particular to ensure on the basis of equality of men and women. The same condition for career and vocational guidance for access to studies and access to the same curricular, the same examination, teaching staff with qualification on the same standard and in school premises and equipment of the same quality. The elimination of any stereotype concept of the role of men and women at all level and all form of education by encouraging co-education and other type of education which will help to achieve this aim. The same opportunities to benefit from scholarship and other study grants in a rural as well as urban area. This equality shall the same opportunity for access the program of continuing education, including adult and functional literacy program also, the reduction of female student dropout rate, and the organization of program for girls and women who have left school prematurely. The same opportunity to participate actively in sports and physical education, access to specific educational informations to help to ensure the health and well-being of families, including information and advice on family planning. Article 11 of this convention guaranteed the employment opportunity. State party shall take all appropriate measure to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of employment. That is the right to work as an inalienable rights of all human beings, the right to same employment opportunities, the right to free choice of profession and employment, the right to promotion, job security, all the benefits and conditions of service, and the right to receive vocational training, retaining and retiring, including apprenticeship, advanced vocational training, and recurrent training. Okay. There are another rights under the heads of employments, that is the right to equal remuneration, other types of benefits, that is perquisite also, um, as well equality of treatment in the vocational of the quality of work. Uh, Next, the right of social security, particularly in case of retirement, unemployment, sickness, invalidity, and old age and other incapacity to work, as well as right to paid leave. Next, the right to protection of health to safety in working condition, including the safeguarding of the function of reproduction. Secondly, in order to prevent discrimination against women on the ground of marriage or maternity and to ensure their effective right to work, state party shall take appropriate measure such as prohibit dismissal on the grounds of marriage of maternity leave and discriminate in dismissal on the basis of marital status. Uh, the state party has to introduce maternity leave with pay or with comparable social benefits without loss of former employment. The state party has to encourage the provision of necessary supporting social service to enable parents to combine family organization with work responsibility and participate in public life. And the state parties also to provide special protections to women during pregnancy and types of work proved to be harmful to them. Article 12 of this convention talks about healthcare and family planning. Women has equal right to access care, including sexual health, family planning services, and pre and post natal care. Article 13 of this convention, that is economic and social benefit. This conventions give rights to the women have equal rights to family benefits, financial credit, and to participate in recreational activities, support, sports, and cultural life. Now comes to the Article 14 of this convention, that is rural women. There are certain rights that's also given to the rural women. State party shall take into accounts the particular problem faced by rural women and the significance role which rural women play in the economic survival of their families, including their work in non-monetized sector of the economy, and shall take all appropriate measure to ensure the application of the provision of this convention to women in rural area also. State party shall take all appropriate measure to eliminate discrimination against women in rural area in order to ensure that they participate in and in benefit from rural development. In particular, shall ensure to such women the right to participate in elaboration and implementation of development planning at all levels, to have access to adequate healthcare facility, to benefit directly from social security program, to obtain all type of training and education, formal and non-formal, including that relating to functional literacy, to organize self-help group and cooperatives in order to obtain equal access to economic opportunity through employment or self-employment. Also to participate in all community activities. State parties has to access their agriculture credits and loan, marketing facilities, appropriate technology, and equal treatment in land and agrarian reform, as well as in land resettlement schemes. To enjoy adequate living condition, particularly in relation to housing, sanitization, electricity and water supply, etc. Now comes to the discuss the Article 15 of this convention, that is equality before law. It has also been mentioned in our Constitution of India. State party shall accord to women equality with men before the law. State party shall accord to women in civil matter a legal capacity identical to that of men and the same opportunity to exercise that capacity. In particular, they shall give in women equal right to conclude contract and to administer properly, and shall treat them equally in all stage of procedure. A state party agree that all contracts and all other private instruments of any kind with a legal effect which is directed at restricting the legal capacity of women. Fourthly, state party shall accord to men and women the same right with regard to law relating to the movement of person and the freedom to choose their residence and domicile. Now, that is Article 16. This is the last article of this convention. State party shall take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination against women in all matter relating to marriage and family relation, and in particular shall ensure on a basis of equality of men and women the same right to enter into marriage, same right freely to choose spouses and to enter into marriage only with their free and full consent, the same right and responsibility during marriage and its dissolution also. State parties shall take all appropriate measures related to the same right and responsibility as parents, irrespective of their marital status, and matter relating to their children. In all cases, the interest of the children shall be paramount. Um, there are certain other heads under the Article 16, that is the same right to decide freely and responsibility on the number and spacing of their children, and to have access to the information, education, and means to enable them to exercise this right. The same right and responsibility with regard to guardianship, wardship, trustship, and adoption of children, or similar institution where these concepts exist in a national legislation. In all cases, the interest of the children shall be paramount consideration. Next, the same right for both spouses in respect of ownership, acquisition, management, administration, enjoyment, and disposition of property, whether free of charge or for valuable consideration. Second, under the head Article 16, the brothel and the marriage of child shall have no legal effect, and all necessary action shall be taken to specify a minimum age for marriage and to make the registration of marriage in an official registry compulsory. Thank you. This is the lecture. Um, thank you.